So welcome everybody. This is our third Spring to Success series session. Today, the topic is using the library in the digital age. We have Angela Grogan, who's the Director of Library Services here as our guest speaker. So she will chat with you today. In the meantime, if you have questions, please put them in the chat box and we will address them at the end of the presentation.
You ready? Okay, welcome to Reeves Library. That is a great place to help support you with your academic success. As we get started this morning, I'd like you to think for just a minute, what are a couple things that come to your mind when you think about the library? A lot of times people will say books or quiet. The library provides a lot of resources as well as a number of different types of spaces that are available. And so we're going to take a little bit of a look and an adventure through how to be successful with your research at Westminster. So tip number one is just get started. Don't procrastinate. Putting things off is not going to help you do your best work. There was a recent study of over 22,000 college students from 100 different colleges and universities. And 84% of the students said that getting started was the hardest part of doing research. We all struggle with putting things off, but challenge yourself to take advantage of the resources that are here to help you be successful. And when you think of research, it's interesting to think about what people think about. Research can take a little more time than what you initially think, so don't be surprised of that. In the study, we found that some of the words that students came up with when they thought about research were angst and dread, confused, overwhelmed. I think sometimes we can all relate to those feelings, but hopefully today we can eliminate some of that anxiety that's related to doing research by helping you become more familiar. Tip number 3 is just remember you are not alone. The library staff can help. All you need to do is ask. You can stop in. We're here until 6 o'clock, Monday through Thursday. You can always email the library account, which is reeves.library. And you can use the online chat or the text feature of chat if you need help after hours. So, finding information. We have all done research of different degrees, and sometimes you find that the depth of research that your professors are expecting is a little bit different, perhaps, than what you've been accustomed to. So you may feel fairly comfortable with doing some searching and getting started, but then because it's a new environment, perhaps there are resources that you do not know about that could help make things easier for you. So how do we get started? We can look on the internet because it's easily available, it's familiar, and there's a ton of information available. In fact, it's sort of like trying to get a drink from a fire hydrant. We can also think about the library resources. And as a librarian, I guess I'm a little biased. That's my preferred choice of where to start because it serves as a funnel to get you down to the information that is going to meet the expectations of your professors. So the library resources can really guide you in that it's kind of like the quality control, the peer reviewed. These are resources that have been selected to support our curriculum. And so it could save you a lot of time if you take advantage of them. On the library website, you can see that we have links to a lot of different things. And sometimes terminology can be a little bit of a barrier. So when we refer to databases, those are the collection of our journal articles and citations that we subscribe to from different vendors. Catalogs are more of the index of the library holdings, and Arthur is our regional cluster of the state system, and Mobius is a statewide system. And then we also have things available through WorldCat that are beyond the state of Missouri. There are two search boxes that you'll see on the main screen. One at the top is the Ebsco Discovery, and that's kind of like the one-stop shop where whether it's in the catalog or a database, it will search and pull it up. So if you're not sure where to go look, Ebsco Discovery can be a place where you can start. In the second row, you'll notice there's a search box for Credo, which is reference materials. So if you have a topic that you're not very familiar with, Credo can be a place that you can go. So I'd like for us to actually go to the website now and just pull up and do a few examples. This discovery is nice because you don't necessarily have to know where to go, but this is where, being a small campus, you should take advantage of the library staff. In the study that I had mentioned previously, 92% of students start with a search on the internet. 88% utilize databases, but only 30% utilize the librarians. And the librarians are able to bring a lot to the table that can be helpful for you. I'm trying to get the alphabetical list. So you can see there are all kinds of databases that we have. We don't expect you to know about every single one of those, but if you will come and ask for some help, we are able to connect you with the resources that are going to be specific for your topic that can help you identify those resources that are going to be more useful for you. So that's another advantage of coming to ask. A lot of the databases have additional features that we can help you learn about so that you can receive information when something new is added to a particular search strategy that you have saved. So, you know, if you're going to be working on a thesis, those are great things to know about. Also wanted to point out the subject guides. We have subject guides for almost all of the major areas that we offer in the curriculum. So it is a place where you can go to look. If we pick psychology, you can see some of the general material that's available that relate to psychology. And then there's also information that's from the web that are good resources beyond what the library provides. So the subject guides can also be a good place to help you find information. But the main point that I would like to make today is that the library staff can be a great resource for you, but we don't have mental telepathy. We don't know that you need help. So if you will just come and ask, we are more than happy to help connect you with the resources that you need so that you can do the best work that you can. And we are all located close on the north end of the main floor of the library, on the same floor with the Student Success Center. So just stop at the desk, and if no one's there, ring the bell, and we'll pop out around the corner and see what we can do to help you get connected. Thank you for your time today, and let's see if anyone has any questions. I'm gonna quit sharing my screen so we can go back.
Angela, I have a question. I want to go back to your very first tip about procrastination. Was that the first one?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I know in the LST course that I taught last semester, many of the students that I worked with commented about how procrastination is a huge issue for them. What are your top 3 tips for helping students get past that procrastination, at least in regards to actually using the library space for their research?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, you know, that's kind of a characteristic that, you know, cuts across many platforms many areas of our lives. So I think it's important for students to be aware of their preferences, their learning styles, what type of organization works for them. A lot of times with research, initially you look at the assignment topic and you think, that's not a big deal. It's, I've got that. But then when you sit down to start, you find that maybe the terms you're thinking aren't pulling up information, or, a number of things can get in the way. So I encourage you to use your calendar or whatever tool you use to keep the rest of your life organized, and actually put down some time, block out some time to start on that history paper, and pace it out, start at the day it's due and work your way backwards, so that you can plot several blocks of time to work specifically on that assignment, because it's easy to just think of it as the paper. So if you chunk it off into parts, and defining the topic is actually the hardest part, because students tend to want to pick a broader topic because there's comfort in that. So actually getting that topic narrowed down so that you can really fine tune the research can save you a lot of time. But, procrastination's just, figure out what works for you as a person and reward yourself when you get, something done that you said you were going to do. I don't know. Everybody's got to figure out what works for them. And I know that we have a lot of resources, that you guys have a lot of resources on time management. I know Jessica gave something on that yesterday. So there are resources in Learning Express if you want to try to raise your own awareness and understanding of time management issues, that you could kind of do some self-help things. But, just take the plunge, stop at the desk and ask.
So, Angela, I have always been pretty shy, and I don't really like to put myself out there and ask those questions. I'm not so much like that nowadays, but definitely when I was growing up and through college. For all of the students who are a little bit apprehensive about approaching the desk or coming to talk to one of the librarians, what advice can you give them to just taking that first step, just biting that bullet and asking that first question?
If the face-to-face seems uncomfortable, you can always utilize the email through the Reeves.library, or you can utilize the chat feature as a way to sort of break the ice and establish a little bit of a dialogue with someone. But it's no different than finding that courage and strength to ask the professor specifically about an issue or a challenge that you're having. That's part of our growth during our time here, is to stand up. I mean, think of it as being an advocate. You have all these resources available to you, so why would you not want to take advantage of them? I mean, do you just really like to struggle? We can make your life so much easier. The cost benefit is awesome once you get past that initial, I need some help with. If people didn't ask questions, I'd be out of a job. So please bring your questions to us. I need to feel needed.
I just have one last question, and Michelle, if you have any, feel free. For the online chat, I have a question and a comment. The question is regarding the online chat feature. How often, or how much time usually goes between the librarian receiving, or the staff person receiving the message, and the student getting a response? What kind of turn time do you all try to strive for?
Well, we have during the day, a couple of the staff are logged in, and it's on their computer, and they get a little ding when someone asks a question. So that we have some control over the response time. So it shouldn't be much of a lag. I mean, it's not, like we're just sitting around waiting for chat to activate. So it may take, a second or a few before we realize, oh, we need to answer that. But we try to be as responsive as is reasonable. And for the after hours, that's contracted with other professional librarians, but they have access to our resources. So if you ask them a question, they can pull up our web page and, walk you through how to do a particular search in a particular database. So, we're not a company. It's not, the sole focus of one person, but we do try to be fairly responsive. But, if time is of the essence, it's a small campus, stop by the library.
That's when you need to come in person, right?
Right.
And then just the last comment I have, I love how you compared searching on the internet to drinking from a fire hydrant. I think that makes so much sense. There's so much information thrown at you by just doing a general Google search or whatever search engine you use versus actually using the library.
Yeah, when you just search the internet, you have to evaluate initially whether that is going to be good information or not. And if you go through the library web page, those resources, it really does funnel down to make that information more manageable so that you can identify those things that will help with your research.
Yeah.
Angela, if a student wanted to learn more or go deeper with their library research, is there a class that the students can take to learn more?
Normally we have a 8-week trailing class on library skills that students can take. But any of us are willing to sit down and, work with a student to help them with their particular need. For example, the other day we had a student stop in that needed to be able to translate articles in French articles. And so, Kathy was able to sit down and they found a place where he could get some articles to translate. So I would love to be able to have more online opportunities where kids can search for something specific and find a short tutorial. We have a project in works, but it's not ready for implementation yet. So
Gotcha.
In the near future. Any other questions?
I have one last question, Angela. Can you share with us who the librarians are and what they do, what their roles are?
We have 4 staff members at the library. I am the director and have my master's in library science, and my background is in education. As the director, I handle personnel, budget, operations, just kind of, the big picture detail. I do have faculty status, so I serve on faculty committees and do some college service through that way. Kathy Renner is the other professional librarian. And she also has a background in education, but she is a very good investigator. She can take a thread, a little piece of what you need, and she will not let go until she has found the information you need. So in a lot of ways, she serves as kind of a reference librarian, but the bulk of her job is more technical and dealing with the back end of the library system and the website, that kind of stuff. In the front office, we have Olivia, who is a Westminster alum and has worked with us for a couple of years. And she handles the resource sharing with other libraries. And then Lisa Williams is our technical service, handles processing, ordering, cataloging, getting the books ready for use.
Thank you. Michelle, did you have any other questions? Okay, well, I want to thank Angela for contributing to our Spring to Success series this week. For those listening, we have 2 more this week. Next week, tomorrow, which is Thursday, we're going to hear from Jesse Reed, who is our coordinator of global educational services. He's going to talk about study abroad programs. And then Friday, we're going to hear from Lauren and Raven, who are our professional academic advisors. They're going to share tips on how to get ready for fall 2021. Yes, we need to start thinking about that now. For the recordings of all of these sessions, please visit the career development page on MyWC, and we will see you tomorrow.